Okay, so we've finished with ISIS, and where we're up to now, we're going to start on our BGP. So what I've done here is I've loaded up some OSPF on all of these. However, these links here do not have OSPF enabled on them because these will be used for BGP. Now I've included the configuration file which has the OSPF configs for areas 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 if you want to use them. However, if you're coming straight from the ISIS video series and you still have your ISIS config, then of course you can carry on use ISIS if you wish for your internal IGP. That's not a problem. Just ensure that you remove the L2 neighborships between these devices, and then you're good to go. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to concentrate on area 0, and we're going to start configuring internal BGP first between Ps 1, 2, 3 and 4 to see if we can get the loopbacks to propagate. So let's have a look at that. Let's bring up the command line. See where we're at. Okay, so we're on our VMX now, and let's just double check. Show protocols, BGP. So we have no BGP. So let's get out of global mode and into P1's logical system. So exit. Oops. And let's do set CLI logical system, and we'll do P1. And let's go along now and go to configure, and we go into the routing options because we need to set the autonomous system. So set routing options, autonomous system, and 65,000. Fantastic. Now we can go into the protocol itself and add the BGP in. So let's do edit protocols BGP, and you need to define a group. So group, and you need to give it a name. So I'm going to set the name as INTERNA internal. All right, fantastic. So now we need to set its type. Actually, let's do a question mark so you can see some of the options. So like what we've done, OSPF and ISIS, if you want to put BFD on and things like that, that's absolutely fine. But here, what we're going to do, where it says type right here, we're going to do what type of peer, because this is an internal peer rather than external peers. Okay, so set type and question mark, so it's internal. Excellent. So now we're setting that group as internal BGP only. So when we're doing our neighbors, we don't need to specify what autonomous system that they are in, but they're going to be assumed to all be in the same autonomous system. All right, fantastic. So now we need to set our local address, or in other words, which address we're going to use for our BGP neighborship sessions. And because this is internal BGP, we're going to be using the loopback addresses. So set local address, and it's going to be 1.1.1.1. Fantastic. And let's do a show. Where are we up to? Okay, so we have our type of internal, we have our local address. So now we need to set our neighbors. So set neighbor, and then what we need to do, we need to tell it where it's going to peer with. we'll put the neighbor's address in. So this has to be the reachable IPv4 address or the reachable IPv6 address. So we're going to set neighbor as the loopback address because we have reachability to the loopback via OSPF, and the idea is, if for argument's sake, let's go back to the diagram here. Fantastic. So at the moment we're doing an OSPF connection here. So if we do our peerings on these addresses, the link addresses, that's fine, it will work. However, if this link goes down, then the BGP peering is also going to go down. However, if we peer on the loopbacks for our addresses and this link goes down, well, that's okay because it can still reach the loopback via the internal IGP in that direction. Fantastic. Let's bring that back up. Okay, so we're going to set the neighbor as 2.2.2.2 and let's do a show. Excellent. So that's it. That looks to be all that we need. And do a show pipe compare. Okay, so we have our BGP, our group is called internal, it's type internal. We have the local address where we're sending the hello messages and the routing updates from, and the neighbor that we're sending it to, and of course we have our autonomous system. So let's jump on to PE2 and configure the same thing. So let's do a commit and quit and set CLI Logical Systems PE2, and let's do the same thing on here. So configuration mode and set routing options, and it's going to be autonomous systems 65000. Great stuff. Now let's edit our BGP. So edit protocols BGP. Now what we're going to do, we're going to name the group differently just to prove that you don't have to have the same name. The actual name of the group is locally significant only. So set group, and I'm going to call it INT, and its type is internal. Great stuff. The set group INT local address is going to be 2.2.2.2. Excellent. Okay, and set group internal neighbor is going to be 1.1.1.1. Excellent stuff. Top OK. Show pipe compare. Okay, so there's our configuration for BGP on logical system P2. It's just BGP, our group type, our local address, our neighbor address, and we have also our routing options autonomous system set. And let's commit and quit. Brilliant stuff. And let's do a show BGP summary. Okay, so as we can see, we have a peer to 1.1.1.1. Let's do a show BGP neighbor. Okay, great stuff. So as we can see here, this is our local address. This is our peer, so we're peering with 1.1.1.1 on port 179, which is the TCP port for BGP, and we know it's in the same autonomous system, and we can see that its state there is established, so the BGP peering is up, so that's fantastic. Okay, and then we can see the usual things. We can see yeah, how many. Let me just get rid of this. You can see how many further down under where it says active prefixes, received prefixes, and advertised. You can see how many updates we're sending, how many addresses, and how many we're receiving. Now, because this is IBGP at the moment, we're not actually sending anything at the moment, but we will soon enough. We have our neighborship set up, which is what we want, and that's absolutely fantastic. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to configure PE 1 to 3, 3 to 4, and 2 to 4, so they're already rock and rolling. So we'll have reachability between offer BGP between all the PEs. We'll leave the core out for now. We'll do that a little later. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.